So today is the commemoration of the disappearance day of Ramchandra Kaviraj and the appearance day of Gopal Bhatta Goswami. So instead of the normal Chaitanya Charitamrita class, we're going to speak about these two personalities. But first, because it is a disappearance day, we're going to chant the prayers to the departed Vaishnavas, known as Parshada Gora Viraha Vilapa, written by Narottam Das Thakur. Okay. Ye Anilo Prema Janna Korana Pracho Henu Prabhu Kocha Gelaga Kacharya Thakur Kahamura Swarup Rupa Kahasanata Kakadasa Raghunatha Patita Pavan Kahamura Bhatta Juga Kakakaviras Ekakale Kotagela Goranat Taras Kotagela Goranat Taras Pashane Kutibo Mata Annale Pashibo Goranga Gunera Nedek Kotakele Papo Se sabha sangira sange ye koilo vilas. Se sanga napaya kande naratamodas. Se sanga napaya de naratamodas. Jayanila prema dana karuna pracho. Jaya Jaya Thakur, Jaya Jaya Thakur, Jaya Jaya Thakur, Jaya Jaya Thakur. Jaya Jaya Thakur, Jaya Jaya Thakur. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Paravatikacharya also Teta Satashi Shimad, His Divine Grace Abhaya Chanana Bhaktivedanta Goswami Srila Prabhupada Islam Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Anantakoti Vaishnava Vrindikajaya Namacharya Shabridas Thakur Kijaya Prem Say Go Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shidwaita Gadadha Shiva Siddhigor Bhakta Vrindikajaya Shri Shri Radhakrishna Gopi Gopinath Shyama Kunda Radhakunda Giri Gopalam Kijaya Vrindavanam Kijaya Maturadam Kijaya Jagadasami Kijaya Munamai Kijaya Shrimati Lassi Devi Kijaya Samavita Bhakta Vrindikajaya Gaur Premalanda Hari Hari Bol. All glory is the assembled devotees, all glory is the assembled devotees, all glory is the assembled devotees, all glory is to Shri Guru and Gauranga Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Vastaya Bhutale Shrimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Namani Namaste Saraswati Devi Gaurmani Pacharni Nivashesha Shinyavadi Paschatcha Dejatarni. So let's read the translation. And, okay, written by Narottamadas Thakur. He who brought the treasure of divine love and who was filled with compassion and mercy, where is such a personality as Srinivasacharya gone? Where am I Swarup Damodar and Rupa Goswami? Where is Sanatan? Where is Raghunath Das, the savior of the fallen? Where am I Raghunath Bhatta and Gopal Bhatta? And where is Krishna's Kaviraj? Where did Lord Gauranga, the great dancer, suddenly go? I will smash my head against the rock and enter into the fire. Where will I find Lord Gauranga, the reservoir of all wonderful qualities? Being unable to obtain the association of Lord Gauranga, accompanied by all these devotees in whose association he performed his pastimes, Narottamadas simply weeps. So, of course, Narottamadas was a very intimate friend with Ramchandra Kaviraj. And so this particular song was composed after the departure of Ramchandra Kaviraj, because what happened is Srinivasacharya and Ramchandra Kaviraj went to Vrindavan together, because Ramchandra Kaviraj is a disciple of Srinivasacharya. And then they both left their bodies in Vrindavan pretty much at the same time. And when Narottamadas Thakur heard this information, then he became determined to leave this world, and before that he wrote this particular poem, Saparshada Gaura Vira Vilapa. So first, we're going to speak about Srila Jiva Goswami today. So, Om Gana Timirandasha Gananjana Shlakaya Chakshur Un Militam Yena. Gopal Bhatta Goswami. Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Jiva Goswami's appearance day is tomorrow. So, Gopal Bhatta Goswami. Gopal Bhatta Goswami, of course, appeared in South India, which is quite different from all the other Goswamis of Vrindavan. All the other Goswamis of Vrindavan appeared in Bengal, either East Bengal or West Bengal, which we know as Bengal, and East Bengal we know as Bangladesh nowadays. So Gopal Bhatta Goswami appeared in the year 1503, and he stayed in this world until 1578. So in other words, if you figure that, that's only 75 years. And at that time, that was considered a very long lifespan, 75 years. And of course, the Vedic system is, of course, he never got married, but the Vedic system is, 50 years married life, 25 years after that, vanaprastha, 25 years sannyasa. Hopefully one lives to 100. So his biography or his qualities are not really mentioned that much in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. There's only brief mentions, like once or twice, not really anything detailed about Gopal Bhatta Goswami. You may wonder why, because we find that Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami extensively wrote about, especially Raghunath Das Goswami and Rupa Goswami and Sanatan Goswami, isn't it? Extensively. And the reason being is that Gopal Bhatta Goswami was renowned for his humility, which we're going to talk about in a few minutes concerning his Shalagram Shilas. So he was renowned for his humility, and he made a deal with Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. And what was that deal? Well, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, before he composed the Chaitanya Charitamrita, he wanted the blessings of the Vaishnavas. And naturally, he wanted the blessings of the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan. So he goes to the different Goswamis, gets their blessings, and then he goes to Gopal Bhatta Goswami, and Gopal Bhatta Goswami says, "You're not going to get my blessings unless you don't really talk about me in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. I don't want anything written about me." So, it's a very brief mention in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. So that was his vast humility. He wanted to present Krishna consciousness, but he didn't want his own name put out there in so-called lights or prominently. So, a little bit of his history, that, as I mentioned before, he came from South India, specifically Srirangam. Srirangam is like an island. It's like an isthmus. They say it's an island, but it's an isthmus. Isthmus is like an island, but it's connected with the land bridge. That's what an isthmus is, as compared to an island which is completely surrounded by water. So Srirangam is surrounded by the Kaveri River. Beautiful place. Actually, it's sometimes considered the largest temple in India. Of course, it's not the largest temple in the world. Largest temple in the world is Angkor Wat in Cambodia. And that was a Vishnu temple. Later on, the Buddhists converted it to a Buddhist temple, and it's considered one of the main heritage sites in the world. So anyway, so he was residing there, and this Srirangam temple is quite interesting because it's like a Varnashram temple. Varnashram means, you have the different Varnas, Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra, and they don't all live together. In other words, you don't have the Shudras living with the Brahmins or the Brahmins living with the Kshatriyas. They're circles, but it's squares, actually, the concentric squares around the temple. And in the first square, you have the Brahmins living. Second square, you have Kshatriyas, then Vaishyas, and then Shudras. So Gopal Bhatta Goswami with his family was living in the first square because he came from a Brahminical family. And his father's name was Venkata Bhatta, and his father had two brothers, Trimala Bhatta and Prabhupada Saraswati. And so what happened is that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was visiting Srirangam, but he was visiting Srirangam during the rainy season, what's called the Chaturmash period. Chaturmash period is a period in which the wandering mendicants execute austerities. And the reason they execute austerities is because they can't move because it's the rainy season. And therefore there's austerities like eating like a duck, where you can't eat with your hands, you just tie your hands behind your back or hold your hands behind your back and you go down and you eat just once and that's it for the whole day. And that's a great austerity. And another ones is not shaving, and it's very hot and humid, and so that you have this beard, and it's great austerity. We don't do these things nowadays because we can travel widely. So there's a reason for the Chaturmasha austerities. Now, sometimes in India, amongst Indian people, they'll say, this is the time when Lord Vishnu is sleeping. Ever heard that before? And so, what I explain to the people is that Lord Vishnu sleeps during the whole time of the creation. Right? The Mahavishnu, we're in his dream. So he's having a dream and he's sleeping. Or yoga nidra, not sleeping like us. So anyway, so Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was visiting and staying there and feeling great separation from Lord Jagannath. And he was invited by Venkata Bhatta, Gopal Bhatta Goswami's father, to stay with him in this house in the Brahminical section. And while he was staying there in that house, he was feeling so much separation from Lord Jagannath that he couldn't bear to be without Lord Jagannath. So he carved deities. Lord Chaitanya hand-carved deities of Lord Jagannath. And those deities are still there today. They're on the opposite side of the road from Venkata Bhatta's house. And so we visited the descendants of Venkata Bhatta several times and also saw those deities. And we have pictures, and there's pictures on the internet of those deities, and I took pictures of the deities. So, anyway, so Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was visiting, and people were astounded with his chanting. So, as I mentioned, for 4 months he stayed with Venkata Bhatta, and Venkata Bhatta gave him prasadam for 4 months. And this was in the year 1510. In 1510, Gopal Bhatta was 7 years old. Okay, got it? And so Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, because he was staying there for 4 months, he became very familiar with the family, especially with little Gopal Bhatta. And he would sometimes pick Gopal Bhatta up and put him on his lap. Can you imagine that? Being put on the lap by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And sometimes he would allow Gopal Bhatta to touch his feet. So Lord Chaitanya embraced him. He played with him. Imagine, what did you do when you were young? I played with Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would feed him his remnants. So Gopal Bhatta served Lord Chaitanya this way continually. And then, at the same time, or similar time, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had this very interesting discussion with Venkata Bhatta, Gopal Bhatta Goswami's father. And this discussion was about Lakshmi, because in Srirangam, they worship Vishnu and Lakshmi, and it's in the mood of awe and reverence. So when you go there, you always hear this one verse chanted by Sripad Ramanujacharya, Om Namo Narayanaya. Om Namo. It's played on the loudspeakers, so you hear this everywhere. Om Namo Narayanaya, Om Namo Narayanaya. And that's the verse that Sripad Ramanujacharya was taught, and he was told by his guru not to distribute to anybody, because anyone who heard it would get liberated. And it's a fact. You hear any of the holy names of the Lord, like Jamnu, he was also chanting what? Narayan, 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 and he got liberated. So Ramanujacharya's guru said, don't teach this mantra to anybody. And then Ramanujacharya taught it to everybody. And the guru got ready to curse him, and Ramanujacharya said, I can go to hell, I don't care, but I'm going to liberate everybody. So the guru accepted Ramanujacharya as his guru. And so there was a focus on Narayan, Narayana, which means the resting place of all the living entities, or he who resides in the ocean, either the Garbadak Ocean or the causal ocean. So you find on the bed of Anantashesh. So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu joked with him about Lakshmi. Lakshmi, of course, is Narayan's consort. And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, because they had a very joking relationship, very friendly, intimate relationship, he said, your Lakshmi, referring to Venkatapata, your Lakshmi, performed many, many austerities, actually for hundreds or thousands of years, but she couldn't achieve Krishna. And also, he said, your Lakshmi wanted to associate with Krishna, and she's supposed to be the most chaste lady. What's your answer to these two questions? And so Venkatapata said, I have an answer to the first one, or the second one, sorry, that she wanted to associate with Krishna, but Krishna and Narayan are non-different. Advaita, Chuta, Nadir, Ananta, Rupa, Madhyam, Purana, Purusham, Navayovanam Cha. There's one God, and he has various forms, and Narayan's playful aspect is as Krishna, so she's not violating any sort of chastity. It's like if a lady wants to associate with her husband when her husband is at work, or her husband is with bowling with the guys. It's not that she's violating chastity. She may not be allowed there to bowl with the guys, but still, it's not a violation of chastity. But Lord Chaitanya said, then why can't she enter the rasa dance or be with Krishna in Vrindavan? And that's right. Sounds like an Indian movie. So, Kumbh Mela. So anyway, I took a look at some videos of Kumbh Mela, and the sages, they were really enjoying themselves. I mean, it's just like having water sports, jumping in the water, I was feeling envious. So anyway, getting back to the point. So Venkatapata said, I cannot really understand why Lakshmi was not allowed into the rasa dance or into the pastimes of Krishna and Vrindavan. So you have to explain. This is a great mystery. And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explained, this is because she was attached to worshiping Krishna or Narayan in opulence. It's like almost you can compare it to what? The Vaidhi Marg, it's compared to Raganuga. Even in Raganuga, there was this Kamanuga and Sambandhanuga. And Sambandhanuga is like opulence, rules and regulations, and Kamanuga is like very intimate relationship, like the gopis, of course. So she was very attached to that particular mood. Narayan is God. She's very submissive. We find in the Chaitanya Mangal that she's scared of Narayan or Vishnu, isn't it? Because was it Narada Muni wants some prasad, and she shivers a little bit when she approaches the Lord. So this is her mood, and one can't have that mood in Vrindavan. The mood in Vrindavan is, just intimacy, and you let your proverbial hair down and relate to Krishna in a very intimate way. He's not God anymore. He's your friend. He's your lover. He's your kid. This is the relationship there. So she couldn't get out of that particular mood in spite of wanting to enter into the rasa dance. So this way, Venkatabhata and his family became sort of, I wouldn't use the word converted, but convinced. Prabhupada really didn't like the word convert people. I'm listening to some of the classes where devotees would say, we converted this person. Prabhupada said, no. We don't convert people. We allow them to have a higher understanding. But convert means sectarian religion, like Muslim, Hindu, and stuff like that. So we don't. We give them knowledge, we give them understanding how to approach Sambandha, Abhideya, and then understanding of Prayojana. So anyway, finally after the 4 months of the rainy season, the whole family was converted, especially Gopal Bhatta, Venkatabhata, Trimala Bhatta, Prabhupada Saraswati, who later on became a great author, went to Vrindavan and wrote many different books about Krishna consciousness. He's one of our great authorities. Not to be confused with Prakasananda. Like Prabhupada mentions that, Prakasananda was a Mayavadi in Benares who basically was converted by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but because he had committed offenses, he got leprosy. Someone different. So Lord Chaitanya got ready to leave after the 4 months, and Gopal Bhatta started crying. Please don't leave. And after Lord Chaitanya left, he kept having these dreams about Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. One dream was his desire, based on his desire to see Lord Chaitanya before he took sannyas, as Nimai, of course, in Navadvip. And in this dream, he saw Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu before he took sannyas, and he even participated in this dream. In other words, he became one of the personalities in Navadvip who was associated with Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And in that dream also, Lord Chaitanya revealed that he was non-different from Shyamasundara, that is Krishna, in a blackish form in Vrindavan. And in that dream, he instructed Gopal Bhatta to go to Vrindavan and to serve Rupa and Sanatan as his older brothers. And externally, before Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu left, he told Gopal Bhatta, don't get married, number one. Number two, don't join me until your mother and father have passed away, because you should stay here and serve your mother and father. That's an interesting instruction. Also, with Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave the same instruction to serve his parents. Now, the reason being was his parents were great devotees. Whereas we can contrast that with Lord Chaitanya's desire for Raghunath Das Goswami, where Lord Chaitanya wanted to extricate Raghunath Das from his family, even though his family were devotees, but they were Vaishnava Prayas, according to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and Lord Chaitanya even called them like worms in stool. Not because they were worms, he was using that metaphor to show that they were still interested in material enjoyment, but they also understood about Krishna. So in other words, they kept jumping back like worms. If you take them out, they jump back into whatever mess they're in. So in this way, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was comparing them, but not considering them to be worms. Trying to understand, because they were great devotees in their own right. So Gopal Bhatta was advised, you serve your mother and father as long as they're in this world, because his mother and father were great, great pure devotees. Basically, they had been brought to Gaudiya Vaishnavism by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. They did not take initiation from Lord Chaitanya or take reinitiation, because they were initiated already in the Sri Sampradaya under Sripad Ramanujacharya. So, in the meantime, while Gopal Bhatta was taking care of his family, he was being trained by his uncle, Prabhupada Saraswati, and he was always serving his parents. Eventually, the parents passed away. And they ordered him, as they were getting ready to leave this world, to go to Vrindavan. So he went to Vrindavan, and when he arrived in Vrindavan, Rupa and Sanatana Goswami were so affectionate to him, because they had been told that he was coming. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu knew, of course he's God, he knows everything. So he told them, Gopal Bhatta is coming, so accept him as your brother when he comes, and send me, that is Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, a message when they arrive. So I know, because Lord Chaitanya was still in this world, he was in Jagannath Puri at this particular time, not traveling anymore. So he assisted, Rupa and Sanatan began to assist Rupa and Sanatan, and Rupa Goswami even had a dream in which Govinda Dev, that is his deity, instructed him that he wanted Gopal Bhatta Goswami as his main pujari. So Gopal Bhatta Goswami became the main pujari for Sri Govindaji. In the meantime, when Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu heard that Gopal Bhatta was there in Vrindavan, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was so affectionate to him that he sent him some gifts. He sent him his kopina, his outer garments, and his seat. That is, a seat to worship the deities with. So in this way, Lord Chaitanya, it's not very often the Lord Chaitanya would send gifts like that. And Lord Chaitanya was so affectionate to him, extremely affectionate to him. So, while he was in Vrindavan, he had a desire to worship Shalagram Chilas, because many of the Brahmins, they worship Shalagram Chilas. It's actually a very strict worship, the worship of Shalagram Chilas. It's on the Vaidhi platform, but of course he was on the topmost platform, and he was worshiping in a different mood. But it is, Vaidhi worship, generally. So anyway, so he went to the Gandaki River, and he got 12 shilas, and he returned to Vrindavan. But he was thinking, I'm really unqualified. You see his humility. We discussed that in the beginning of class, that he didn't want his name mentioned in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. So, I'm not really qualified to worship shilas. And here's Gopal Bhatta Goswami. And nowadays, people take it very cheaply, this worship of shilas. We find some devotees, they take up a worship, then they give it up, and you can even go on the internet and eBay and buy shilas if you want. Because and then many devotees, they'll go to other devotees and say, oh, the shila wanted to come to you. And the reason they say that, because they can't worship that shila anymore. It's a very common thing. I've seen it again and again and again. Generally, when my disciples want to worship shilas, I tell them no. When you're qualified, but better you concentrate on the temple deities. And that's the point. Prabhupada said, first class grahasta concentrates on the temple deity, doesn't get into a lot of deity worship in their own home. Generally, I recommend Gaurnitai at home, because there's no stricture, no offenses, offer everything. Prabhupada said just chanting Hare Krishna is the worship for Gaura. So, anyway, so he goes back to the Gandhika River because he feels unqualified, and he puts the Shilas in the river, and they jump back in his hands. And this occurred several times. So then Krishna was indicating, because the shelling from Shila is non-different from Krishna, so Krishna was indicating he wanted to be worshipped in that particular way. So he would worship them, and even though he didn't have really a residence, most of these Goswamis, they didn't have any real residence. If you look at their kutir, it's not that there's a sink in there and a bathroom and a kitchen, isn't it? You just don't see those things there. I mean, nowadays, kutir means a couch, sink, bathroom, everything like that. So it's very, very simple. And so he kept them in a pouch around his neck. And he worshipped them. But he was always thinking that he wanted to worship deities, have his own deities, just like the other Goswamis of Vrindavan. And one day, sort of to rub salt in that wound, not a wound really, but that just to agitate his mind spiritually, a rich man gave him some cloth and jewels. And he was thinking, I really want to worship a deity. So he rested, and the next morning, the Damodar Shila became the deity of Radha Raman. And it's amazing. So he was worshiping this Radha Raman deity. And also, another thing that happened very interestingly, that one time he felt guilty, Gopal Bhatta felt guilty that he was not worshiping Lord Chaitanya, didn't have a deity of Lord Chaitanya. So he thought, what am I doing worshiping Krishna? And I'm not worshiping Lord Chaitanya in the form of Lord Chaitanya. So then Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in a dream revealed himself as non-different from Radha Raman. So in other words, he looked at Radha Raman, and Radha Raman, either in a dream or waking state, became Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Amazing story. So, in a village nearby Vrindavan, so he wanted someone to take over the worship of Radha Raman after he got very old and was going to leave his body. So in a village near Vrindavan called Haridwara, means the door to Hari, there was a storm, and Gopal Bhatta took shelter in someone's house, and that particular house had a husband and wife, and they had no children. And so they both begged Gopal Bhatta to bless them to have a son. And he said, if you let us have a son, by your blessings, then we're going to give our first son to you. So eventually, 10 years later, 10 years old, this boy shows up at Gopal Bhatta Goswami's Bhajan Kutir and says, I'm ready to be your servant at 10 years of age. And Gopal Bhatta Goswami initiated him as Gopinath Pujari Goswami, and he served Radha Raman. And this boy's younger brother also took initiation and served Radha Raman. And their descendants to this day, that's why it's called the Goswami family, one of the Goswami families, which we mentioned the other day. But the descendants to this day are serving Radha Raman. Gopal Bhatta Goswami also initiated Srinivasacharya, and his main works are as follows. The Hari Bhakti Vilas, which are the rules and regulations for behavior, mainly Vaishnava Brahmanas, and this was compiled along with Sanatana Goswami. They collaborated on this. And the original 6 theses, the Shat Shandara, that were composed by or attributed to Jiva Goswami, was actually composed by Gopal Bhatta Goswami And Jiva Goswami sort of tidied it up, edited it, and added a lot too, but it was Gopal Bhatta Goswami's idea. Gopal Bhatta Goswami also commented on the Krishna Karnamrita by Bilvamangal Thakur. He wrote a book called the Sat Kriya Deepika, which are the samskaras, performances, ritualistic performances for grahastas, and also samskara Deepika, the sannyasis and names of sannyasis. And he is known ontologically, that is in the Vrindavan pastimes, as either Ananda Manjari or Guna Manjari. Ananda Manjari, of course, is the sister of Shrimati Radharani. And Gopal Bhatta Goswami's samadhi is at the Radha Raman temple. Okay. So Gopal Bhatta Goswami ki jai. And we have a few minutes for Ramchandra Kaviraj. Of course, Ramchandra Kaviraj, as I mentioned before, is renowned as one of the close associates of well, he is renowned as one of the close associates of Narottama Das Thakur. He was initiated by Srinivas Acharya, and Narottama Das Thakur writes, Doya Koro Sri Acharya Prabhu Srinivas. Ramachandra Sangam Hangi Narottama Das. O Srinivas Acharya Prabhu, kindly have mercy upon me. Narottama Das always prays for the association of Ramchandra Kaviraj. They were actually completely inseparable. I mean, there's one of my favorite stories when Ramchandra Kaviraj was ordered by Lord Chaitanya, by Narottama Das Thakur, to go back to his family, spend some time with your family. But he only got like 50 meters or 100 meters away, and then he just felt so guilty. He started hitting himself with a broom because he wasn't following the instructions of Narottama Das Thakur. And then Narottama Das Thakur, seeing this, ran up to him and said, why are you hitting me? Very, very interesting. They had such an intimate relationship. One thing you'll find in the Bhakti Ratnakara and some of these other associated literatures, there's so much loving relationships between the Vaishnavas. It's very, very, very impressive. So there's some history here, which I'm not going to read, about Ramchandra Kaviraj's family. He was always enthusiastic, earnest, persevering, energetic, intelligent, and very attractive. So he met Srinivas Acharya. He met Srinivas Acharya, his guru, when he was coming back from his wedding. So here he was, just decorated. You can imagine like an Indian wedding. Someone is really decked out. The man has a crown and all these other things. He's coming back from his wedding. Srinivas Acharya was passing on the road at the same time. And he recognized Ramchandra Kaviraj as the son of Chiranjiva Sen, one of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's eternal associates. In other words, Ramchandra Kaviraj was the son of one of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's associates. And they saw each other, and from a distance, a deep mood of friendship arose. And they were eager to meet each other. And of course, they met each other. And eventually, he stayed with Srinivas Acharya and took initiation from Srinivas Acharya. Lord Srinivas Acharya said, life after life, you have been my friend. Providence, even though he was his guru, very close relationship. Providence has brought us together again by arranging our meeting. So Srinivas Acharya recognized him. And let's see what other information. We got one more minute here. So Ramchandra Kaviraj, here's a song by Ramchandra Kaviraj. Just see the brothers, how Sri Gauranga has arisen like a golden moon. Just as the full moon has arisen in the sky, another fuller moon arose in the form of the Gora Avatar, just to deliver us all from this dark age of ignorance. His mercy takes away all the suffering of the Jiva souls. Japa, mantras, austerities, and other rituals are all useless for purification in this age of Kali. Not referring to the Hare Krishna Japa, of course. The only means of deliverance is the Hare Krishna mantra. Mahaprabhu is so kind that he has manifested the nectar of the holy name so that the souls in this dark age can be released from the cycle of repeated birth and death and all hellish life in the lower planetary systems and experience divine love. Whether one is blind or dumb does not matter. Everyone can drown in this inundation. In this way, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has drowned everyone in love of Godhead, but Ramchandra Das is so unfortunate that he could not taste even a drop of that nectar. So Ramchandra Kaviraj. Okay, time to greet the deities.
Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Samasitam Buddha Sundaranam Dandar Bhagom Vidamaniya Vishesha Shobham Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Anandani Yasa Sakale Priya Priti Manti Lasyan Dipan Nikayanti Niramanti Anandajimaya Sadhu Jala Vigrahasya Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adi
Namo Vishnu Pataya Krishna Kristaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Namani Domande Hare Saraswati Deve Gauravani Vacha Neke Say Shah Shunyavade Pasachak Days a turn and day. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Siva Sari Gaurata Vrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Siva Sari Gaurata Vrinda Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Siva Sari Gaurata Vrinda Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Punyate Ram Nagore Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha, I'm looking at the land, I'm looking at the dragon tail. Jaya Radha, I'm looking at the land, I'm looking at the rat tail. Rate, hey, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Sri Radhe, Jai Om Vishnupad.